Big Hot Rod and L Train coming at y'all. Man, it's the T-Train show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up, Hot Rod? What up, L Train? Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the
Welcome to another edition of 3 the Hard Way. I got my fellas here. First of all, the influencer, the host of a new podcast called The Locker Room. You guys got to check it out.
Check it out.
Lit. It is lit. My man, the influencer, Mr. Hot Rod. What's going on, Hot Rod?
What is going on, 3 the Hard Way Nation? Y'all know who I am. I'm your friendly neighborhood coach. And what do I say? You may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And we're not saluting just to salute. We are talking to the captain who is joining us today, Mr. Terrence Austin T. What's going on, man?
What's going on, gentlemen? And what's going on, everyone out there? 3 the Hard Way Nation. Let's go. Let's get this ship underway. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. Listen, I guess we got to start off with the Cleveland Browns. I didn't have the opportunity to watch the game live, so I had to turn my phone off. All right, and I didn't get a chance to watch it until late, but the game started off pretty good. I was really surprised. We held the Patriots to a field goal, initially. And then we had the first drive, Dylan Gabriel, Kevin Stefanski together. Pretty good play calling. Hit our tight end on a corner route, 7-0. And my wife turned to me and said, that was a pretty good drive. And I said, we're probably going to get stuck. I kid you not. I said, we're probably going to get stuck on 7 for the majority of the game. And we did not score for the game for a long time. So it's your typical Cleveland Browns game. But before we dive into the negative, because there is always a lot of negative when it comes to this football team, I want to focus on the positive and the best defensive player in the league in Myles Garrett. 5 sacks. And he had about 3 or 4 almost sacks. So he's constantly putting pressure on the opposing team, man. Was the feat that you saw from Myles Garrett, how impressive was that, fellas? I mean, we always talk about how good Myles Garrett is, but from week to week, to see him go out there and play like he plays, man, it's just unbelievable. We're very fortunate to have a guy like Myles Garrett playing for the Cleveland Browns.
Fellas, Myles was great, man. He was great, and he still had a lot more left in the tank, when he got pulled at the end of the game, okay? Myles was on fire. He was on fire. So I get his frustration, for getting pulled. Let him keep on playing.
Yeah.
New England still had their starters in, so Myles wanted to stay in as well. Also, to add to that, you want to say the positives. You know what, fellas? Yesterday, the offensive line didn't play bad at all.
No, they didn't.
They did not play bad at all. They, gave Dylan a clean pocket most of the times. Now, we couldn't run the ball, but that was to no fault of the offensive line, because that New England defense, their front 7, they're solid.
Tough. Yeah.
Yeah, they're real tough. But getting back to the O-line, I mean, hey, they look well. And then also to add to that, our rookies, I tell you, I love our rookie class because those kids are playing, man.
Yep.
Again, like we said last week, they come from winning organizations. They came from winning high schools, okay?
Yep.
Those kids were winning in the Pee Wee League, so they're winners, and they play like it. So, on top of Myles looking good, the offensive line looking good.
Yes, sir.
So did our rookies, okay? So I'm proud of our rookies, and it's because of our rookie class, I think that's what's going to save, Andrew Berry's job, in the end.
Yep.
I think that's what's going to save his job. So those were a couple other positives, to go on. So I'll just leave it right there. I'm sure Rod may have a little something to add to before we pour on a little bit of the negative and move on. Like I told you all yesterday, I was looking for my paper bag to start the show off with for the first segment, but I couldn't find one that would allow me to fit my headphones over it. So I had to scratch that, save that for another day. But again, I love our rookies, and our O-line looked good yesterday, on top of what Myles did. And Myles is a beast. He's the best defensive player in all of football. He is. He is that dude. He's that guy.
Yeah, Hot Rod last week said it best when it comes to our rookies. These guys are culture builders, and they are the building blocks for building a positive culture in Cleveland. So, Hot Rod was right on point with that. Go ahead, Hot Rod.
Yep. So Myles Garrett had a wonderful, wonderful game. I'm gonna stay as positive as I possibly can.
Got to.
5 sacks, And the way that he got those sacks was one sack that he was actually triple teamed.
Yeah.
And he still got to the quarterback. He is who he is. He is the best defensive player in the NFL. Period. I don't want to hear the TJ Watt junk. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear anybody else. Because when Myles Garrett comes into your city, you have to figure out a way to either A, run away from him, not get into third and long. Because if you get into third down, you know he's coming. And he has been. Now, give some credit to the defensive ends on the other side, Isaiah McGuire. Those guys on the other side, those two young defensive ends on the other side has made it to where if you're going to triple team Myles, now you got somebody quality on the other side. But no, it was a fabulous display of defensive football from Myles Garrett. I can see him leading the league in sacks this year. It's just unfortunate that, of course, how the NFL goes, they're just going to reward those who are winning. Okay. And but he should be considered before the year is out. Number one is the defensive MVP and possibly the MVP of the league. I mean, the guy is a wrecker. Literally, he is in the same, and then people going to vilify me for this, but he is in the same vein as a Bruce Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Reggie
you can easily
White.
say that.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Thomas, rest his soul.
Yeah.
He is in that vein of great pass rushers. And I'm going to end it with this because, like I said, I know my Steeler fans are going to come back with the TJ Watt joint. Here is where I break this down real quick. TJ Watt is a rush linebacker. He is not a defensive end. He's not a pure defensive end. Okay? And the reason I say that is when you look at how Pittsburgh's defense is put together, TJ Watt actually covers backs out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a linebacker. That's not a defensive end. Myles Garrett is a pure defensive end. Okay? You don't see him going into no zone. That's not Myles Garrett. Jim Schwartz not going to do that. So that's why in that conversation, it's not saying that TJ Watt is not a good football player. He really is a good football player. But when you try to say that him and Myles Garrett is on the same level, they play two different positions to me. That's how I look at it.
You know what? Also, too, Rod, talk about old Steeler linebackers. He's kind of similar to how Jack Ham used to play, remember?
That's a great comparison.
Yeah, Jack Ham.
Absolutely.
For the Steelers, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great comparison. There's level to this, man. And, there's a lot of really good players out there, but I feel comfortable in what Hot Rod just said about the Bruce Smiths. You could throw Reggie White in there, all Derek Thomas, all of these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think Myles Garrett fits in that. When I look at Watt's a very good player. He's a great player. I just don't put him in that upper echelon of defensive players when you start mentioning the Reggie Whites and you start mentioning the Bruce Smiths and stuff like that. That may piss a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans off, but it's just the facts of the case. But what is kind of overshadowing the great game by Myles Garrett is what happened at the end of the game. I don't know if anything has been officially announced about why Myles Garrett was so upset, if you made any comments about that, but it's been speculated that he wanted to go back into the game. Yeah. The New England Patriots still had their starters out there. Myles Garrett wanted to be out there possibly to get his sixth sack, which would have been pretty significant for his career. You could make the argument, if you're one of the supporters of Kevin Stefanski's, that you don't want a guy like Myles Garrett going out there when the game is out of reach, getting injured. You could use that excuse. But what was your thoughts about what you saw with Myles Garrett slamming his helmet down, obviously upset about not being able to go back into the game?
Yeah, what I took from that L Train from listening to Cleveland radio today is, again, he wanted to stay in the game, maybe to get number 6. He didn't say that, but again, because New England still had their starters in, and also too, we were out of it. We weren't going to come back and win, not with our offense. But again, his thing was, hey, I'm feeling good. I'm in a zone.
He's a competitor.
Playing good. Yeah. Let me stay out there. So he was livid. He was livid, and it showed in his post game, presser. But I tell you, at the end of yesterday's game, and we're gonna keep it positive, I was just so I just felt like the life was sucked out of me. Again, as a Browns fan, again, that goes back to the days of Brian Sight being my first known quarterback
Yeah.
and one of my favorites back in the day, you know. So yesterday, it was just that day, man. It was just that kind of day. Because again, had we won yesterday, and in the first quarter, I was excited. I really was. I was as excited. If we could have stole that one yesterday, man, then we would have had 2 weeks to rest, you know, and come out of the bye week and let the Jets have it. But now we're in a position, you know, with the trade deadline approaching, you know, we're going to be sellers instead of buyers to kind of help this thing out. So, again, the only thing that I hold my hat on for right now is this rookie class that we got. Keep those guys together because, like Rod say, they're the culture for the future with us. All of those rookies that we have.
Yep.
Everybody else is expendable, man. Everybody else is.
Yeah, with Myles Garrett, you can go. I see both sides of the spectrum. Number one, you know, being a former football coach, high school football coach, I always had a motto, even when I was coaching my guys, is you let a warrior go. You let a warrior be a warrior. Okay, you know, sometimes it helped me and sometimes it hurt me. But also, I can look at it from, you know, Kevin Stefanski's point. Sometimes you got to save a warrior from himself. And so the game was out of reach. There was nothing else to accomplish. There was nothing else that Myles can do. Now, like most football players, their mindset is, if I'm going to go down, I'm going down with my guys. I'm going down with my fam. I'm going down with the ship. But at this point, you got arguably the best defensive player in the NFL right now. The last thing you need, because you also have to think, guys, Carson Schwesinger got hurt.
Yeah.
And so did Quinshon Judkins got hurt, where they're probably going to be out even after the bye. Judkins has a shoulder injury.
It's unfortunate.
And they think that Schwesinger has a high ankle sprain, a bad high ankle sprain. And I feel bad for Schwesinger because he was number 3 in the all rookie team. He was third. So
he plays his behind off, man.
Yeah.
He does, and I think Carson Schwesinger will be an All-Pro if he stays healthy. We're going to be talking about him for years to come. And like I said, don't let Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah come back. My goodness. But yeah, I understand both aspects of it. In that game, I probably would have pulled Myles, but I probably would have pulled the entire team. I would have just went with my second unit. We're not going to win the game. You know, and I think just by pulling Myles, that was a little iffy to me. If you're gonna pull your guys, pull them all. Pull you know, Mike Hall just came back. Let him go ahead and get some reps. You know, pull those guys. Okay, and if I pull one player, the least that I could do as a coach is walk down to him and explain to him why.
Yeah.
Say to him,
communication.
Hey, big fella, yeah, we out of this one, man. I don't, you know. And even, let's say Myles wanted to get that number 6. Then if Kevin would have went down and talked to him, maybe Kevin would have let him go back on the field. But you got to communicate with your players, okay? But I also believe that Myles is frustrated at the fact that he went out there and gave his heart, and you still lost by almost 25 points. I mean, come on. If I were to say to you, Myles Garrett had 5 sacks, forced a fumble, Carson Schwesinger got his first interception. If I'd have said that to you, you'd have been like, oh, well, the Browns blew him out.
Yeah.
We got him.
Yeah.
We got
Or
him.
at least won the game. Or at least won the game.
Right.
Wasn't
So,
the case.
no, I understand both aspects of it. I really do. I really do. I understand what Myles wanted, but I understand why Kevin Stefanski pulled him.
Here's what I know, is that in life, when things aren't going well at home, no matter what you're doing throughout the day, it affects you. You know, when you go to work, you're in a bad mood. You know, there are days where you may not want to come home if things aren't good at home, you know?
Right.
And I think this is what you're kind of seeing from Myles Garrett. I don't think you get the same reaction from Myles if the team was doing a little bit better, if the locker room and the environment was a little bit better, if they had a handle on this quarterback situation. He's already come out and criticized Kevin Stefanski in certain areas of what's going on with the team. So now on top of that, you played a hell of a game yesterday, and then you go up to the guy that kind of controls your playing time, and now you're told no. Something that is usually on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 1 or 2, now becomes a 8 or 9. And that's
magnified.
It's magnified because things are not good at home. And so a lot of this, fellas, and I want to take a deep dive into this, man, because I watch, a lot of Cleveland Browns content. I watch people that analyze the Browns that are in the know, and people are taking a deep dive on it, but people are kind of skipping around about what's really going on, and that's the Shedeur Sanders thing. Like, I know there is probably Shedeur Sanders exhaustion from a lot of people. People are tired of talking about it. People are tired of hearing about it. I'm kind of in that camp, but I just want some of the questions answered. Like, here's the bye week, and everybody kind of speculated, hey, after the bye week, more than likely, if Dylan Gabriel is not balling out, Shedeur is going to get his shot. And Shedeur may well get his shot, but now you got Kevin Stefanski coming out telling the press that pretty much they're not looking to make a change at quarterback yet. That is going to make a lot of the fan base mad. And not only the fan base, but I'm sure there are guys in that locker room, like Hot Rod said, are giving it everything they got. They hear this. What do you think that does to the locker room? Like, let's dive into this, man. What is going on with Shedeur? Why won't they play him? Why won't they give him an opportunity? Dylan Gabriel played his worst game out of the 4 that he started this past Sunday. You would think they would look at the bye, do some self-scouting or something like that, and then have maybe the game plan to give Shedeur a shot coming out of the bye. Why isn't prime time's kid Shedeur Sanders not playing?
Let me give you Gabriel's stats yesterday,
Okay.
L Train and Rod, in the 32-13 loss. He was 21 for 35 for 156 yards, 2 interceptions, okay, and 2 bad interceptions. Now, again, like I say, the line played well yesterday, okay?
Yeah.
I think they played well enough for us to win. Now, granted, again, our, running back, before he got hurt, he had no answer for that New England team. And I'm not going to beat him up because he's a rookie and he went up against a heck of a defense, okay? So we couldn't run the ball yesterday, okay? Now, getting back to Dylan, hey, I just think he's small in size and he just could not see the field. He could not see downfield. He could not, see open receivers, open targets. Also, too, Jerry Jeudy, and I think I'm going to hit on him in APB or boot camp. One of them I got him slated for. He helps out not one bit, okay? He does not help out. I mean, he's a veteran receiver. I look at it, I'm a military guy, okay? And I expect my senior guys to help the junior guys out, okay?
Yep.
When the junior guys are flailing, when they're struggling, I expect, my senior guys, and girls to help out the juniors, help them out. Nobody's helping the kid out, okay? After yesterday, I've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel for right now. I've seen enough of him. I'm ready to move on to Shedeur to see what we have going forward, okay? Because, again, we got 2 first-round picks next year. So go ahead and put Shedeur in. Now, but my concern is Shedeur was inactive yesterday because of this back injury. What is this back injury all about? What's going on there? How did it happen? Why is it, his back hurting? Is this something that stems back from, his days in Colorado or at Jackson State? What's going on there? Because for me, Dylan Gabriel, I've seen enough of him. So I'm ready. And I see Rod over there. I see you, Rod. I'm ready for, Shedeur to go in there. But, what's up with that? So let's start there. What's up with this injury or his back being hurt? What's up with that? That's what I don't get.
So it agonizes me to have to even talk about this again, because the bottom line is this: Kevin Stefanski and Dylan Gabriel are locked at the hip. That's his guy.
Yep.
He's going to roll with him. I heard G. Bush say this. He's the conductor of the Titanic when the Titanic was going down. He's gonna go down with who he picked, and that's Dylan Gabriel. When it comes to Shedeur Sanders, I just truly think at this point, Kevin Stefanski is petrified to put him in. Not because he doesn't know, but because there is a slight possibility that he will excel. And if he does that, that means that his ability to choose a quarterback is now in question. It will now solidify the fact that Kevin Stefanski has an inability to coach quarterbacks, or coach quarterbacks who have some type of moxie, quarterbacks who are demonstrative. Okay, don't mistake Shedeur Sanders' confidence for arrogance. The young man is confident, and he's being patient, and he's waiting his time. And Kevin is trying his very, very, very best to keep this kid down because he understands. And the thing is that Shedeur Sanders has won this locker room. There are guys in that Browns locker room that want to see this kid.
The city. He's won the city.
They like, what do we
town.
have to lose? Okay. And I said this earlier. Shedeur Sanders is a winner. He wins. He knows how. Okay. He's from a good stock, the greatest of all time in terms of cornerbacks, and arguably the greatest football player ever is his dad. And so I just think Kevin Stefanski is absolutely petrified to throw him in the game. Dillon Gabriel looked pedestrian at best. Okay, and yes,
awful.
from a pass protection, the Browns' offensive line was not bad. Pass protecting, they couldn't run to save their life, but pass protecting, they were fine. Dillon Gabriel had good pockets. He didn't have to do a whole lot of running. Like I said, the first interception, he didn't see the linebacker. There's no way he saw the linebacker. Okay. But let me flip the script a little bit. And trust me, I don't wish Dillon Gabriel any ill will. He seems like a pretty good kid. But let's be honest, gentlemen. What type of receiving core does he have? This receiving core is absolutely pathetic. Gage Larvidan, okay? Isaiah Bond, which honestly, I just think Isaiah Bond needs a little bit more seasoning and he'll be fine. Okay, but Jerry Jeudy, here I'm going to help Jerry Jeudy out. Because I told you guys, Jerry Jeudy is not a number one receiver. He's a number two. He's a number two that the Browns made a number one. He has no idea. He's a slot guy. He ran in the slot a lot. He's not a number one receiver. So what does that mean? And I know for my football novices, let me explain real quick. There's a complete difference between being a slot receiver and being that X receiver. That X receiver, that's that guy that's going to always get open. Yeah. That's that guy that causes you for your safety to roll down because you got a double team. Okay? DK Metcalf, let me give you that. He's an X receiver. You got to come down on him. You can't leave him one-on-one or else he's going to cook anybody that's in front of him. So this is what I'm saying. So Jerry Jeudy is not a number one. He has literally made Steve Smith Sr. a prophet because Steve Smith Sr. said he's not a very good receiver. And you see that he's not. And I'm
Mark
tired
Slayer
of people
said the same thing
blaming it.
too.
Yeah.
Slayer said
I'm
the same
tired
thing
of people
too.
blaming it on the quarterbacks. No. It's not the quarterbacks. It's him, okay? When famous Jameis was throwing the ball, he was able to catch it because Jameis Winston was throwing the ball with his eyes closed. He didn't care, okay? But now, you have Flacco, and now you got Dillon Gabriel. And here's my thing. I say this, and everything I say is fluid. Y'all know that. If Shedeur Sanders becomes a quarterback, watch what happens to Jerry Jeudy. Watch.
Okay.
Because right now, Dillon Gabriel right now is the most receptions yesterday were by the tight ends. Harold Fannin and David Njoku.
On National Tight End Day, remember?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so watch what happens to Jerry Jeudy if Shedeur Sanders goes behind center. Watch what happens. And I think that's what Kevin is afraid of. Kevin is afraid because that's not Kevin's guy. That's Andrew Berry's guy. Okay. So
yeah, I think we are really, really invested in this in terms of the amount of time that we've spent on all of these quarterbacks. And when I say we, I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns. So when Hot Rod says that Dillon Gabriel is attached to the hip of Kevin Stefanski, totally believe that. I go back to the initial formation of this quarterback room. And I don't want to dive too much deeply into that because it's not really valid. But my point is, you've got a fan base that is hungry to win. You've got one of the most passionate cities there is when it comes to their NFL football team, and that is fact when you talk about the Cleveland Browns. So it perplexes me when I see a guy like Kevin Stefanski who is not giving himself the best chance to win. And there's a lot of variables into this. I don't quite get it because Kevin Stefanski, if things don't go right, Kevin Stefanski is gone next year. I predicted a long time ago that Kevin Stefanski will not be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns next season. I don't think his seat is as hot as everybody thinks it is. Haslam has
Or
come
as
out.
it should be.
Or as it should be. It's not that hot. So there's still time if Kevin Stefanski wants to still be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns to do something to allow that to happen. For him to continue with this Dylan Gabriel charade, it's just irresponsible, and it's just something that I can't wrap my brain around. There's got to be a couple things that's going on here. Either there is a chance, fellas, because I'm not in that locker room. I'm not on the practice field every day.
None of us are.
Yeah, I am not qualified to analyze anything when it comes to NFL football. Nada. I can just give things the eye test, kind of use my fandom, my
Me too.
experience watching football. That's
Yeah.
all I got. That's all I got,
Me
fellas.
too.
So there is a chance that Kevin Stefanski is actually analyzing Dylan Gabriel as a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Like, maybe deep down inside, he actually believes this in his heart, that this little kid is going to take the Cleveland Browns to the promised land. There is that possibility that he honestly believes that. There's also that possibility that Shedeur is never going to get a chance because they don't like his dad. And so they are prioritizing their emotional and what they believe his dad to be, and letting that filter into their decision making on who the quarterback should be. And I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm just hitting all of the angles of this. There are a lot of people, and I'm not on this side, but there are a lot of people that it could be a person of color thing. I'm just going to throw that out there. There is that element of that. Whenever Shedeur in the preseason made a positive play, who did they show in the stands? Families of color, people of color, doing the watch sign. So the media thinks it's slick. There is an element of that
You're right.
as well.
You're onto something. Yeah.
It's the element of
You're
that
onto
as well.
something.
So for me, nobody wants to really commit to anything on what's going on with Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur. I just think, man, I don't understand it, because in my opinion, Kevin Stefanski is coaching for his job. So either he's like Hot Rod, he's like what Hot Rod just said, man, I'm just going to go down with the ship doing it my way. I don't care about being the head coach of this team anymore. Or there's just a level of ignorance, within this coaching staff that is just so dumb that they're making a big mistake, or they've got something against Shedeur Sanders, man. It is perplexing to me. It really is. Each week, I'm just blown away by the decisions that the Cleveland Browns are making in terms of their quarterback.
So, L Train, based on what you just said, who's under center in 2 weeks in New York? Who's under center?
I think, barring injury, I think it's Dylan Gabriel, unless he puts up a game statistically that Kevin Stefanski can't defend. See, as bad as that game was yesterday,
and it was bad,
Dylan Gabriel cleaned that thing up at the end, man. See, that's my problem. Like, he got a lot of it. It's almost like, but using a basketball term, when you get garbage minutes. Like, there are times you can go in the last 5 minutes of the game where both teams kind of empty their bench, and you can put up some stats. That is kind of what's going on with Dylan Gabriel, man. He was very fortunate a couple weeks ago where he could have thrown like 4 or 5 picks, and he didn't. The D-backs, I believe, for the Steelers were dropping passes, and everything. And so I see the same thing with Dylan Gabriel, man. He's putting up, his stats does not reflect the game that he played, and his stats aren't that good anyway. But yesterday's stats, I looked at it. You had a couple touchdowns. You had a couple of picks. He threw for a reasonable amount of yards. So if you didn't watch that game, you would think, okay, he's playing like a rookie. He played terrible yesterday, but the stats really don't reflect that. So to answer your question, T, I think as long as his stats stay like that, they're going to ride the roller coaster with Dylan Gabriel, man.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. It's just really, really frustrating, man. Really, really frustrating. In terms of the NBA, we got our Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 2-1 right now, doing some really, really good things. What are your thoughts about start for the Cleveland Cavaliers and what's going on with them?
Well, I got one of them that's going to be one of the players that's going to be in APB, okay? So I'll just say this off the bat. What concerns me early on is Donovan playing a lot of minutes, okay?
Yeah.
He's playing a lot of minutes. and that should not be the case. Now, I watched them in their first game, opening night against New York, and I knew that was going to be a tough one, but I felt we had a chance because just like we were missing Hunter and I forgot who else we were missing, New York was down 3 players, okay? They were down 3 players too, but, right before game time, Cat emerged and played.
Yeah.
So it was a good game, hard fought game, a lot of turnovers by us, a lot of missed shots, missed opportunities. I love seeing Lonzo Ball out there and the potential and what he brings.
Yeah.
I will say that, okay?
Yep.
I love seeing Ball. But that was just game 1 of, many more to come. So there was no need to get bent out of shape, no need to get upset. I hate losing to that New York team, but again, it was just game 1. But just early on, and that was the only game I saw. Now I watched looked at the box score against the Nets, and then they beat Giannis last night, and Giannis scored, 40 points. But early out the gates, my concern, again, is the number of minutes that Donovan is playing, okay? Because, again, Evan Mobley should be the focal point of the offense on that team. But it's early, so we'll work some kinks out. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it, despite the cloud that the NBA is under with the gambling and all of that
crazy.
stuff, man.
That's crazy.
It's awful. It's awful. But I try not to look at that part because I don't play fantasy. I'm not a bettor. I root for teams. I've always root. I go back to the days of Jim Jones, Jim Brewer, Dick Snyder, Austin Carr, Jimmy Clemens, Nate Thurman, so I go way back. I love the Cavaliers. I love the Cleveland Cavaliers. But early on, hey, I'm happy. Let's go. Let's roll with it. But Evan Mobley, I need you to take over. I need you to take over and start, the offense running through you. His defense looked good, the other night. But again, and then we got killed on the boards too. Offensive rebounds. New York was getting second and third looks at shots, man. We got killed on the board, so they need to clean that up. But it's early. It's early. Go ahead, Rod. It's early.
So the Cavaliers, against New York, you have to understand that this is a Mike Brown team now. And Mike Brown was always known for defense. He's making these guys play defense. But I'm not even going to go there with the Knicks. Kenny Atkinson is basically practicing during games. Now, let me explain. He's trying to find the right lineup while Darius Garland and Max Strus are out.
Right.
So he's mixing and matching. He's got Tyrese Proctor, the rookie from Duke. He's giving him minutes. He's got guys out there. Sam Merrill is starting. And Sam Merrill right now is averaging almost 19 points a game.
Which is
okay?
Good, yeah.
It's a small sample size, all right? But, Jalen Tyson, second-year player. He's
like him.
So what Kenny Atkinson is doing is actually brilliant. He's getting these young guys in right now. He's throwing them in the fire. Why? Because when it comes playoff time, them young guys aren't going to be shook, okay? Now, I do agree Donovan is playing a lot of minutes. I'm hoping that Kenny understands that right now, if y'all are watching Craig Porter Jr., should be in the lineup and let that young kid go.
Agreed.
But he doesn't want to throw him in. He don't want to throw him in the fire like that. So that's why he's coming off the bench. Listen, when the Cavaliers are together, are full and healthy, guys, they are deep. They are really deep. Kenny can go 12 deep right now.
Easy. Yeah.
No, and with Darius Garland coming back and then Max Strus will be back in December, I think Darius Garland will be back a lot sooner than people think. Okay? So now what does that do?
Don't rush it, though.
No, but now what does that do? That moves Sam Merrill to the bench. Okay? Now you got Donovan going back to his natural position. DeAndre Hunter should stay at the 3. The guy is he's box office right now. Okay? Evan Mobley, yes. Here's something that I want people to understand. It's going to take Evan Mobley pretty much mid-season. Like last night against the Bucks, he went 12 for 12 from the free throw line.
Yeah, I like
that. Think about that.
Yeah.
12 for 12, okay? Which means he's getting to the bucket, which means he's getting fouled, and he made his free throws. Right now, I still think Evan Mobley is inconsistent because in New York, he had 22. With New Jersey, he ended up with 13. There has to be a consistency. Here's the problem with Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is falling in love with the three-point shot.
Yeah, he is.
And L Train, you as a coach, when you see a big fall in love with the three-point shot and get away from being on that box, because it's hard, okay? I'm watching Victor Wembanyama just absolutely kill it, but he's not He's not falling in love with the three-point shot. He's still trying to get into the post. When Evan Mobley's focused, he's unguardable. When that switch hits, he is absolutely unguardable. And Donovan is acquiescing to him because he knows that Evan Mobley is the way to go for the championship. Okay? I watched him go toe-to-toe with Giannis last night. Okay? He did. Now, Giannis went for 40, but Evan wasn't no slouch. Jared Allen had a very good game. He's another one that's inconsistent.
Yep.
But I love what the Cavs did because with Jared Allen's inconsistency, you can pull him and throw Larry Nance Jr. in there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where last year, if you pulled him, you had to throw Tristan Thompson. That's different now, okay? Lonzo Ball is the X factor. If Lonzo Ball can stay healthy, he is the Alex Caruso of the Cleveland Cavaliers because he gives you defense. He can pass the ball with the best of them. I'm not overly concerned about his scoring. He'll get there. But in terms of seeing the floor, and he
loves the pass ball.
He pushes the pace. Yeah, the pace that he goes at. So what I'm saying is when Darius Garland returns, when Max Strus returns, that second unit is going to be just as lethal as the first. So and Kenny's mindset is let me mix and match, let me figure this out. I ain't worried about us winning 15 games in a row this year. We won 15 straight games last year, and where did it get us? Got us nowhere. So Kenny's being a mad scientist right now. He's working it. And the Cavs are 2-1. You know what I'm saying? Milwaukee gave them their best punch yesterday, and it didn't matter. And that's for half a team. It didn't matter. So I can see the Cavaliers, when they get ramped up and they start going, they're going to be a hard team to beat.
Yeah. And I want to see what they do tonight, fellas, against Detroit, okay? Because I saw bits and pieces of that Pistons game the other night against Houston where Detroit got them, okay?
Yep.
So here we're playing our first back-to-back tonight against Detroit Pistons. So let's see what happens there. This will be a good early measuring stick, too, for what Kenny Atkinson is trying to do with these guys, okay? Because that Detroit team, like I say, I saw bits and pieces of them the other night against Houston, and they were on point, man. They were on point.
Yeah, Tina from Cleveland Heights wants to know, she says, Lonzo Ball already sitting out, fellas. Is that a red flag?
No.
Okay.
No, he's coming off a major injury.
They came, listen, Lonzo Ball missed almost a year and a half last year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And so what the Cavs are doing is they're managing his minutes.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to play back-to-back games this season.
Yep.
They're going to pace him. Their mindset is they don't need Lonzo Ball for the regular season. They need Lonzo Ball for the playoffs.
Right.
Yep.
So, no, it's not a red flag to me.
Sis.
He is injury-prone. Don't worry about that. No, he's good.
Yeah, I know we kind of touched on this. Marcus from Lakewood, we talked about the inconsistencies of Evan Mobley. Any chance of him becoming the guy this year?
Go ahead, Rod. I want him to be, and he needs to be, again, to alleviate the wear and tear on Donovan. I mean, again, we saw Donovan last year in the playoffs, in the postseason, how he was just worn down. So we need that to happen. We need, Evan to step up and the offense go through him. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for that.
I'm going to make a really controversial statement. Y'all ready?
Uh-oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Drum roll.
Evan Mobley will not be that guy as long as Donovan Mitchell's on the team. I'm so serious. And it's not Donovan Mitchell's fault. Evan Mobley's mindset is Donovan Mitchell is the proven all-star. Donovan Mitchell is the go-to guy. At the end of the game, I'm trying to find Donovan Mitchell. Where Donovan is trying to get Evan to understand, brother, at the end of the game, I need you in the post. I need that right hand up. You want the ball. You need to command it. His mindset is, no, Donovan Mitchell is the closer. So until that thing snaps, because like I said, when you look at Kevin Garnett, when he was in Boston, KG knew when to pick and choose his spots, but Paul Pierce and Ray Allen knew when to get him to his spots.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Very, very simple like that. You know what I mean? Chris Bosh, even though he was a complimentary piece in Miami, there were times where LeBron and D Wade said, Chris, to the box. Let's go.
Yeah.
So Donovan Mitchell is trying his best to help Evan Mobley get over that hump. Evan Mobley is the one that has to figure it out and say, Donovan, give me the ball. Let me have it. He's not doing that. Kenny is force feeding him. He did that against the Knicks.
Yep.
I think his first 4 or 5 shots was Evan Mobley. Okay, Evan was gassed toward the end of the game. He's never. I think he shot almost 20 shots. He's not used to doing that. He's used to getting his 10 touches and doing his thing. He's used to the defensive end. So Evan won't get to that point, unfortunately, until Donovan is not there.
Yeah.
Then
Rod,
he won't have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, you make all the sense in the world when you say that. It kind of like when, Kyrie and LeBron was there. LeBron opened the door for Kyrie to be that dude, and Kyrie was that dude. Kyrie had that dog in him just like Kobe, So I kind of wish Evan Mobley was like that, because, again, LeBron provided that same, way for Kyrie, and Kyrie did not mind taking it. You know that.
Right, and I'm not saying that this is who these guys are, but let's look at Pippen and Jordan.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When Jordan left, and Pippen became the guy. Pippen was the guy. Yeah, he had Tony Kukoc and he had those guys, but he knew that at the end of the game he had the ball. I.e., why he didn't go into the game, that one game where Phil Jackson designed a play for Tony Kukoc, because Scottie Pippen in his mind he said you wouldn't do that to Michael.
Yeah.
You wouldn't design a play for me when Michael was here.
Yeah.
So why is you designing a play?
I know he's hot.
Scotty's still hot.
I know he.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to make is Evan won't get it until he doesn't see Donovan out there. As long as Donovan is out there, Evan Mobley won't go there. Now, Kenny Atkinson is smart enough, what he started to do, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, he's starting to put Evan Mobley and leave Evan Mobley in with the second unit, where Evan Mobley is the only starter out there with the second unit. That's what will get him over the hump if you're not trying to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, is you got to play him with a group of guys that when they look at him, they say, bruh, you got the ball. Here you go. And we waiting on you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cleveland's
good question.
Cleveland's team right now, from Derek from Canton. Who's Cleveland's team right now, fellas? You got all the bad. I didn't read his whole email because it's really long, but he basically said he understands that Cleveland, it will always be a Cleveland Browns town. But right now, football town. But right now, today, with the feelings about the Browns, Kevin Stefanski, you got the Guardians having a really good year. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers. A lot of hope for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who's the team in Cleveland right now, fellas?
Well, again, it is and always will be the Cleveland Browns, okay? It will always be the Cleveland Browns. If the Browns ever win a Super Bowl, every Cleveland resident will be at the parade, okay? Hands down. Everyone will be there. Even those of us from out of town like us will be there as well. So to answer the young man's question, it's a Browns town. However, the Guardians and the Cavaliers give us more to talk about, give us more hope going forward. Right now, the only hope with the Browns is this great rookie class that we have. That's the only hope, and possibly hopes of a better coach, coming in, someone who's going to change the culture. But to answer young man's question, we're a football town. We are a football town.
Yep. Rod, what do you think, man? Who's the team in Cleveland right now?
So as long as if the Browns are winning, it is a Browns town.
Oh, yeah. It's not even close.
Yeah. But when the Browns are not winning, it is the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Woo, that's one that's not on the list. Okay.
That.
No, you're right about that.
I hate saying that, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because we're such a football-starving town.
Yeah.
The Cavs went to the championship, in 2016, and the Guardians, Indians were heading toward the World Series in 2016 during that time. Okay. But the Browns still was not very good. All right. But the Buckeyes were. Yeah. So when you lean upon it, if the Browns are not winning, then we go to the Buckeyes. We lean for our football. We lean to the Buckeyes. Okay. Now, if there's a rare year where neither one of them are winning,
right,
then you go with the Cavs. But to answer the question, which is a good question,
great question.
It's a Browns town. It's gonna always be a Browns town.
Even when they're bad. Even when they're bad.
Oh, yeah.
Even when they're bad. I mean, we went in, y'all.
Yeah.
They had an 0-16 parade downtown.
Yeah.
We are a Browns town, period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, it's going to be interesting to see what the Cavs do this year. I think they're going to have a pretty good year. This is the best shot that we've had in a while to win an NBA championship. I think we're the best team in the East. I will not hesitate on that.
Right.
And we are not even fully healthy yet. But if we go into the playoffs and we've had a couple of opportunities in the playoffs where we came up a little bit short. Those are building blocks to be able to win it. You get to look back at all your mistakes, reflect a little bit, and I think that's going to help the Cavaliers going down the stretch. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. There's a lot of athletes out there, man, that are just, screwing up, fellas. You can look at, there are coaches being fired. There are players that are signing these big contracts that are not living up to these contracts. And I know what they need. I know what they need. I just, give a phone call and I tell the captain, and the captain reaches out and gets these guys into his boot camp. So today we've got T's boot camp. T, who
That's
do
right.
you have in
That's
your boot
right.
camp?
Get a haircut and bring your ID card and your dog tags and show up. We're going to start with Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens. Some kind of fishy business going on there, okay? Yeah, the Bears had, planned to go against, the starter Lamar Jackson, but at the last minute they pulled Lamar and put in Snoop Huntley, okay?
Yeah.
Put in Snoop Huntley, and I guess that's a rule violation where they could possibly be fined or lose draft picks. Yeah, so there's some funny business going on with pulling Lamar at the last minute where, again, the Bears had game plan for him and put in, Snoop Huntley. So something is going on there, something pretty fishy. And again, like I say, as a result of that, the Ravens could possibly lose a draft pick, get fined, something's going on. So some kind of funny business going on there. So I want the coach
give me 20.
to drop and give me 20. Drop and give me 20. And last but not least, our wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy. No catches yesterday, okay? No catches. You're not helping the wide receiver out. Jerry Jeudy, Mark Schlereth said it a couple years ago when we signed him. I disputed it. I was angry with, Mark Schlereth, a.k.a. Stink. That's the nickname they call him on ESPN. He just tore into Jerry Jeudy. Well, you know what? You're making Mark Schlereth look, 100% correct, Jerry Jeudy, because you're just no help, man. You're no help whatsoever. So you, too, drop and give me 20. So Coach Harbaugh and Jerry Jeudy report to T's boot camp with a haircut, shine boots, and your dog tags and give us 20. You, too. There you go.
Boot camp. Hopefully they come out for the better, man. Hopefully you can whip them in to ship shape and stop all these shenanigans.
Coaching ethics and wide receiver ethics. The two of you. Man. Yep.
Man, crazy. T's boot camp. Hey, I got a mystery Brown for you. And you know what? People like this segment. And I got a couple of people that reached out and got on me a little bit. They were like last week that I didn't treat T very fairly because I misspoke.
Yeah.
And
Rod won that with an asterisk. He's still up 5-2, but with an asterisk. 5-2. Oh, Rod.
Yep. So I think I said 2025, which was the wrong date. So a lot of the fans were like, "Come on, L Train, you can't hold that against T." So I'm like, okay, we'll put an asterisk by that. I misspoke. I went back and reviewed the film like any good coach would do, and I misspoke. So we won't hold that against T. But I got a new one this week, and I will not misspeak this time. I got a real good one. So this is going to be the mystery Cleveland Brown of the week to see if we can get this thing a little bit closer. Hot Rod versus T.
There we go.
All right, man. Here's the first clue of the night for the mystery Cleveland Brown of the week. This Cleveland Brown was drafted in 1970 out of Oklahoma. 70 out of Oklahoma. Put your phones away. No help.
Phones away, Rod. Hands up.
Second clue. Spent his entire career with the Cleveland Browns. Entire career. This mystery Cleveland Brown was not flashy, but he was one of the most consistent players ever to put on a Cleveland Brown uniform. He was a mid-round pick who became a... Man, no guesses yet. Okay, I got y'all stumped a little bit. No guesses. Played through constant injuries. played through constant injury.
Tom Darton.
No, but that's a good guess. He wore the same number every year.
Gerald Irons.
No, he is rarely mentioned among all-time Cleveland Brown defenders, but he should be. He made 4 Pro Bowls.
Oh, my.
Jerry Shirk.
Jerry Shirk is the
Yes.
answer.
Yes. Yes.
Man, you guys are incredible.
Jerry Shirk. All
Jerry
right. 5'3".
Shirk. Yep.
5'3",
How did
Rod.
you get
I'm
that,
going
T?
to catch it.
See, how did you get that?
1970. I'm just picturing all the guys that played then.
Yep.
You know, when we were real little.
Yeah.
When we were riding big wheels,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, big wheels and jumping on pogo sticks.
Yep.
Yeah, Jerry Shirk.
Okay.
Number 72,
Number
right?
72.
Yeah, Jerry Shirk. Wow.
Yep. Good
On the
job.
old black and white TV in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the earmuffs.
With the earmuffs, yeah.
Kids don't know anything about that with the earmuffs. Yeah.
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 Good
Wow.
job. Okay.
Okay.
Jerry
Jerry
Shirk, Mystery Brown of the Week. Nice job. Nice job. But unfortunately, when we're having a lot of fun, there's always those people out there that go missing. There's always people out there that go missing. Police are working hard trying to recover people, get clues to things. And that also applies to athletics and sporting events. So we got a couple of APBs that we want to throw out there. This is the segment on 3 the Hard Way where we throw out APBs. Fellas, who do you got
APBs.
for A?
Let me go first, Rod, real quick.
got
The
it.
Dallas Cowboys defense, man. They gave up 44 points to the Broncos, 22 points to the Washington Commanders, 30 points to the Carolina Panthers,
Man.
the holy Carolina Panthers.
Man.
22 points to the Jets, 40 points to the Packers, okay? And then last but not least, they gave up 31 points to the Bears. So where you at, Dallas Cowboys defense? I bet you wish you had Micah Parsons now. So Cowboys defense next in game 2 against the Nets. Evan Mobley, where you at? 34 minutes and only 13 points. Come on, Evan Mobley. Step up, all right? I don't care what L. Train and Rod said that you'll never be the future. It's gotta be you as the future. Gotta be you, all right? Evan Mobley, and last but not least, I'm going to dig into my hockey bag. Y'all didn't know I like hockey, okay? I'm a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, okay? But the Calgary Flames, you all are 2-7-1 early in the season.
Oh.
They've only scored 5 goals, man. The Calgary Flames, they're terrible. They're the worst team in hockey. So step up, Calgary. So again, the Cowboys defense, Evan Mobley, and the Calgary Flames, they're missing in action. They're missing. The heck with them. I throw my glasses too. There you go.
1-800 the captain. If you see
Call
him,
the captain.
go to your local police department. Don't approach them.
Turn them in. Don't approach them.
They're armed and
approach 'em.
dangerous. Go to your local police station. APB.
B. There you go.
All right,
sir.
fellas. All right, fellas. I got to start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. All right. And we're going to look at the quarterback position for the Cleveland Browns. And here's how I want this. It's kind of a two-parter. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. Okay. These are going to be quarterbacks that came in with a lot of hope, that gave the Cleveland fan base in the city of Cleveland, even the state of Ohio, a lot of hope, but then ended up letting us down. So this is twofold. Who gave us the most hope only to let us down in the end? Cleveland quarterbacks. All right. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So my first one is Baker Mayfield. The spark plug that had a lot of swagger, Baker Mayfield. My next one is Johnny Manziel, Texas A&M. Gave the Cleveland fans in the city a lot of hope, got the money signs in college, everybody. I remember how excited the city was to get Johnny Manziel. All right. Number 3, Deshaun Watson. I remember when we made the move to get Deshaun. We got Baker out of here. We got, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Deshaun Watson. A lot of hope. Gave the Cleveland fan base a lot of hope. And last but not least, Tim Couch, the expansion era sacrificial lamb, basically, is what I call Tim Couch. Came in with a lot of fanfare only to let the Cleveland franchise down. So we got Baker Mayfield, we got Johnny Manziel, we got Deshaun Watson, and we got Tim Couch, who gave us the most hope only to let us down.
Let us down. Okay. Rod, I'm going to go first. Let me go first.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start Johnny Manziel, the
Woo!
money man, money sign, Johnny Manziel. I'm going to bench Baker. Going to bench Baker. All right. I'm going to cut Tim Couch. I never forget. I saw him win one Sunday in Baltimore. I'd never forget at Ravens Stadium. I
Yep.
saw him beat the Ravens. Tim Couch. And I'm going to erase Deshaun Watson because I wish. Again, I wanted it to happen, and I was a fan of it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But now where we sit on October, today is the 27th, 2025. I wish it would have never happened, man.
Yeah.
Where we sit right now. I was all for it in the beginning, don't get me wrong. And I understand why they did it again. But yeah, I'd erase Deshaun. So start Johnny, bench Baker, cut Tim Couch, and erase Deshaun Watson.
So, T, you're saying that Johnny Manziel was the most disappointing.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and he was the most disappointing.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Hot Rod, what do you got?
Man, that's rough.
You're looking a little nervous, Hot Rod. You're looking a little nervous.
You know, normally when I get these, it just take me a minute to like process it. But like this one took me a second.
Yeah.
All right. So the most disappointing, I'm gonna start one is that I agree is Johnny Manziel. It's got to be Johnny Manziel. Then number 2, man. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna even lie. I'm about to switch this up right now. Number 2 is gonna be Deshaun Watson. Number 2 is gonna be Deshaun Watson. Number 3 is gonna be Baker Mayfield, and then number 4 is Tim Couch.
Yeah.
Because I think Tim Couch got a bad rap. He just came back with a bad team.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a bad quarterback. I just think he was on a bad team. Out of all the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks that I actually feel bad for, it was Tim Couch.
Yeah. I can see both of those. I'm going to start. I'm going to be a little bit different than you guys. I'm going to start Deshaun Watson. And I put Deshaun Watson as the starter because he was a proven commodity. And you knew that when you had struggled with the quarterback position for a long, long time, this was the closest thing to a sure thing that you could have ever gotten Deshaun Watson. And you know, in my opinion, I would bench Johnny Manziel. I thought I didn't expect, it wasn't a sure thing that Johnny Manziel was going to be the guy. But I think Johnny Manziel, man, I think it was safe to say that people really didn't expect for him to flame out like he did. And he completely flamed out with the Cleveland Browns. Completely flamed out. Baker Mayfield would be someone that I would cut. I would cut Baker Mayfield. And the reason why I put him in the cut spot, because there were some question marks coming out with Baker Mayfield. He's too small, or, you know, he had some off the field type stuff.
Too cocky.
Immature. Yeah, so there was this element that he may not be able to make it, and he's gone on to show that he can be a franchise guy with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I agree with you fellas. Tim Couch came back with a bad team during that expansion era. Just was a pretty decent quarterback that just got put into a bad situation with the Cleveland Browns. So I would erase Tim Couch from this group. So, yeah, Deshaun Watson, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Tim Couch, start 1, bench 1, cut 1, erase 1.
Erase 1. All right.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yep.
All
right, fellas, let's get our parting shots in before we wrap this stuff up. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to keep it, on the field. I'm going to go with Yamamoto, the pitcher for the Dodgers. He pitched a complete game in Game 2, going up against I tell you, that high-flying offense of the Toronto Blue Jays. Pitched a total of 9 innings, and right now he currently has an ERA of 1.57. That's big time on a big stage on the road, okay, for him to do that. And again, he had to do that because the Achilles heel for those Dodgers is their bullpen. Their bullpen is awful. He pitched 9 innings. When the last time you know somebody to pitch 9 innings?
Right.
So I'm going to give it to him. I wish we had him in Cleveland. You posed the question a few weeks ago, L Train, should there be a cap in baseball? I wish we could afford somebody like this guy, man. Yeah, he can throw 9 innings against a Toronto Blue Jay team in their backyard. So that was the best thing I saw all of last week. Yamamoto, pitcher for the Dodgers.
Yep.
My parting shot is Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots.
Yeah, we let
who
him get
took
away.
a 4-13 team who is now 6-2 that we had on our coaching staff. For same squad, 4-13 last year, are now 6-2, and absolutely proved, because he made a statement after the game. He said when the Browns got done with their gimmick plays, then we had to play football. So shout out to Mike Vrabel for absolutely punishing the Cleveland Browns. And just I'm miserable, but I'm happy because I'm like, okay, that he's a former Buckeye. He was on that coaching staff. The Browns let him walk. This is what you get. So my parting shot is kudos to Mike Vrabel.
Great one, man. Two really good parting shots.
Oh, yeah.
My parting shot is about the word standard. T, you are a military guy. There is a high standard in the military. Hot Rod, you are a football coach. And although I never had the opportunity to see any of your teams play, I know the man and I know how you speak and I know your teams had a standard. It's okay to have a standard. You look at what went on with LSU this past weekend. Their coach wasn't towing the line. They got rid of him. There's a standard there. You look at Penn State, arguably under their head coach, Franklin, he's had a really, really good career, wasn't getting it done. There is a standard. You can even look at our Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan Day, for all intents and purposes, has been a great coach. He won a national championship last year, but he better beat Michigan this year because there is a standard. So when I look and see what's going on with teams that we love, the Cleveland Browns, the Minnesota Vikings, any of those teams, these organizations seem to be void of that standard. Get a standard. It's okay to have one. It ain't going to hurt nobody. You know, that is my parting shot for the week. Have a standard. Yes, sir.
Standard.
Yes, sir. Fellas, thanks again for a great show, man. This
Another great show.
Free the Hard Way, man. We're growing it. Each week we get higher and higher subscribers. Share this thing. Like and subscribe.
Tell a friend about us. Tell a friend.
That's right. Yep. So on behalf of the influencer, Mr. Hot Rodney Young, and the captain, Mr. Terrence Austin, we will make sure to see you guys when we see you guys from Three the Hard Way. See you later, fellas.
Later.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.